Most men do not lose their peace all at once. They lose it slowly. It slips away during conversations that feel confusing, during arguments that never get resolved, during moments when they feel smaller than they used to. And the dangerous part is that most of this damage does not come from obvious villains. It comes from personality patterns that look normal at first, charming, emotional, even loving. That is why so many men ignore the warning signs. And that is why ignoring them becomes a big mistake. Today we are not here to attack women. We are here to unmask patterns of behavior that repeatedly destroy men's confidence, clarity, and emotional stability. These are not labels for all women. These are traits, patterns, and anyone can carry them. But many men are taught to tolerate these behaviors instead of recognizing them. And tolerance without boundaries slowly turns into self-betrayal. This lecture is for men who feel drained but cannot explain why. For men who keep giving but feel empty. For men who know something is wrong but have been told they are overreacting. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you may finally understand what has been quietly sabotaging your peace. One of the most dangerous personality patterns is the chronic victim mindset. At first, this person appears sensitive and misunderstood. She talks about how the world has been unfair to her, how people always hurt her, how nothing ever works out. Your instinct as a man is to protect, fix, and support. You step in with empathy, but over time, you notice something strange. Every problem has a villain, and it is never her. Accountability never appears. Growth never happens. And if you try to point out a pattern or suggest responsibility, you are suddenly the bad guy. Slowly, you begin carrying emotional weight that does not belong to you. You feel guilty for things you did not cause. You start walking on eggshells, and your life becomes smaller because her pain must always be centered. Another pattern many men ignore is emotional volatility disguised as passion. In the beginning, it feels exciting, intense emotions, deep connection, high highs, but those highs come with violent lows. One small disagreement turns into a crisis. One boundary becomes an accusation. You never know which version you are going to meet today. Calm, loving, or explosive. Over time, your nervous system stays on alert. You learn to avoid honesty to avoid chaos. And that is when you lose yourself. Love should not feel like emotional warfare. Passion that destroys peace is not passion. It is instability. Then there is the manipulative communicator. This one is subtle and extremely dangerous. She does not yell. She does not explode. She twists words. She rewrites history. You remember one thing, she remembers another. Somehow every argument ends with you apologizing, even when you do not understand what you did wrong. Your feelings are minimized. Your concerns are reframed as insecurity. Over time, you begin doubting your own perception. This is not love. This is psychological erosion. A man without trust in his own mind is easy to control. Another ignored pattern is the validation addict. This person needs constant attention, reassurance, and external approval. Social media becomes a marketplace for validation. Boundaries feel restrictive to her. Any discomfort with this behavior is labeled as controlling, but the truth is simple. Someone who constantly needs attention from others will never be emotionally satisfied by one partner. You become a source of validation, not a partner. And the moment you stop feeding that need, resentment begins. Many men also fall into relationships with the accountability avoider. This person struggles to apologize sincerely. Every mistake comes with an excuse. Every hurt comes with justification. You notice that you are expected to grow, change, and improve, but she remains the same. Over time, resentment builds. Relationships cannot survive without mutual accountability. When one person evolves and the other resists responsibility, Respect quietly dies. Then there is the control through care pattern. This one is tricky because it looks loving. She worries about you. She advises you. She wants to help, but slowly her concern turns into influence. Your decisions are questioned. Your independence is framed as distance. Your boundaries are interpreted as rejection. Without realizing it, you begin outsourcing your life choices. A man who loses agency loses confidence, and confidence once lost is hard to reclaim. Another dangerous pattern is unresolved emotional baggage projected onto you. Past trauma, previous betrayals, and old wounds are carried into the present relationship. You pay the price for mistakes you never made. You are interrogated, monitored, or emotionally punished for the actions of someone else from her past. Empathy is important, but empathy without boundaries turns into emotional imprisonment. You are not responsible for healing wounds you did not create. Now let us talk about why men ignore these patterns. Because men are taught to endure, to be patient, to be strong, to fix rather than question. Society often praises men for tolerating emotional pain in relationships. But endurance without wisdom is self-destruction. Love does not require you to abandon self-respect. Loyalty does not mean silence. And understanding does not mean self-erasure. Healthy relationships feel safe, not confusing. They feel supportive, not draining. They encourage growth, not guilt. When a relationship consistently damages your mental health, confidence, or sense of self, the problem is not your weakness. The problem is the dynamic. This does not mean walk away at the first flaw. Everyone has imperfections. Growth is possible. But patterns that repeat despite communication are not accidents. They are choices. And ignoring them does not make you patient. It makes you vulnerable. If you recognized someone you know while listening to this, do not panic. Awareness is power. The goal is not blame. The goal is clarity. Ask yourself one question honestly. Am I becoming more grounded, confident, and peaceful in this connection, or less? Your body already knows the answer. Stress, anxiety, confusion, and exhaustion are not random. They are signals. Real love strengthens identity. It does not dissolve it. It allows disagreement without fear. It encourages boundaries instead of punishing them. It values mutual respect over emotional control. And here is the hard truth most men need to hear. You are allowed to leave dynamics that hurt you even if no one else sees the damage. You do not need permission to protect your peace. You do not need to justify your boundaries to people who benefit from you having none. If this message resonated with you, it means you are becoming more self-aware. And self-awareness is the beginning of freedom. This channel exists to unmask hidden psychological patterns that keep people stuck, confused, and emotionally drained. We do not demonize, we clarify, we do not hate, we understand, and through understanding, we regain control of our lives. If you found value here, stay connected with Mind Unmasked, because the more clearly you see, the harder it becomes for unhealthy patterns to hide. And once you see clearly, you never go back to living blind.